Evaluating advanced functions. This video is going to be the same as the previous video, except they're going to be more complicated functions. Rather than just putting in a simple number with a very simple linear function, they're going to get a little more complicated. So with this first one, we have f of x equals x squared plus 8. So if I want to find f of 5, then I'm going to put 5 in for the x. So 5 squared plus 8. And then if I solve that, then I have 25 plus 8, which is 33. So f of 5 is 33. Next one, f of negative 1. Okay, so f of negative 1, I'm going to put in negative 1 squared plus 8. Negative 1 times negative 1 is a positive 1 plus 8, which is 9. So your answer for f of negative 1 is 9. And the last one here, f of 4. If I put that in, then I have 4 squared plus 8. 4 squared is 16 plus 8. 16 plus 8 is 24. So f of 4 is 24. Now this next one is an absolute value function. So we have f of x equals the absolute value of x minus 6. So we do the same thing. So I'm going to put in f of 3. So that would be the absolute value of 3 minus 6, which is the absolute value of negative 3. But I know that the absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3. So f of 3 is 3. Then if I put in f of negative 2, then I have the absolute value of negative 2 minus 6, which is the absolute value of negative 8, which again is positive 8 as our final. So f of negative 2 is equal to positive 8. And our last one is f of 7. So I'm going to put in absolute value of 7 minus 6 equals the absolute value of 1. So essentially we can just write it without the absolute value and write it as 1. So the function f of x equals, or f of 7 is 1. Okay, now these next ones are going to get a little more complicated yet, because this one is a square root function, and we're asked to solve a really big number too. So we're going to do it the same way though. So we're going to put in whatever we have inside the parentheses of the function. We're just going to put that in for x. So f of 190 is going to equal 4 times the square root of 190 minus 174. Okay, so we have 4 times the square root. 190 minus 174 is actually 16. Okay, so now I'm going to do that square root first so that I know what that is. 4 times square root of 16 is 4, so 4 times 4. So that means my final answer is 16. F of 190 equals 16. Final answer. Now this next one's going to be the most complicated problem of them all, because what's inside the function is x minus 1. So it's a lot more complicated. But all we have to do is, anywhere we see an x in our function, we need to insert the x minus 1. So what that will look like is f of x minus 1 equals negative x minus 1, because that's where we had an x, squared minus 7. There's another x, so I write x minus 1. So I just insert that entire thing inside the function in for my x's, and then I just have to solve like I did before. So now these are just like the problems we did last chapter. So what we have here is negative. We've got to FOIL this out. X minus 1, x minus 1. minus 7 times x minus 1. Alright, so I'm going to FOIL here. X times x times negative 1, negative 1 times x, negative 1 times negative 1. So when I do that, what I get is negative x squared minus 2x plus 1. And that's just the FOILing part. And then if I distribute here, negative 7x plus 7. Double negative makes it plus. Alright, and then my next step would be to distribute in my negative here, giving me a negative x squared plus 2x minus 1, and then minus 7x plus 7. Then I combine my like terms, so I have a 2x and a negative 7x, a negative 1, and a positive 7. So my final answer is f of x minus 1 equals negative x squared minus 5x plus 6. And that would be your final answer. So those are your notes on evaluating advanced functions. Same thing as we did before, just slightly more difficult. Go through the practice problems, make sure those make sense to you and you're good, and then prepare for the quiz over this material.